and welcome to Frankston North Rotary's Couch Conversations. My name is Beverly Unit, and it's an absolute privilege to welcome someone who's sitting on the other side of the world right now. We have Caroline Rowett joining in all the way from France. Hey Caroline, how are you?
Hello, good morning. Well, good afternoon for you.
It's okay, it is a morning for you at the time we're recording this, so that's fine. Now Caroline, you normally live in the UK and you're over in France at the moment at a family holiday destination. However, you've taken the time out to share something really special with us. I believe it was the late 90s that you found yourself in Australia. Was that the case? Yeah?
Yeah,
and
it's 1994.
Through Rotary Youth Exchange, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Excellent. So how was it you discovered Rotary Youth Exchange? What happened to them?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm from Zimbabwe, so I was in Zimbabwe at the time, and I think a couple of friends mentioned it, or somebody mentioned, I can't remember, but I do remember quite clearly the sort of interview process, and the excitement of being not knowing where you were going, because I had several countries that I put down as options, Australia being one of them, and so very exciting.
Wow. And can you remember how you felt, because it's a long way away from Zimbabwe, can you remember how you felt when you were told we're sending you to Australia?
Yeah, well, I mean, in some ways I was thinking, oh, well, that's quite good. They speak English over there, so that'll be an easier thing than perhaps going to Germany, where one of my friends was going. But yeah, it definitely felt a long way away. Yeah. But very excited about it.
Wonderful. And how long did you stay in Australia for when you came out?
I was there for a full year, so from the January to the December.
Lovely. And so in that year, you were looked after by some Frankston North Rotary parents, so to speak, in inverted commas, I'm putting, substitute parents taking care of you, I believe, and families. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I had a counsellor and his family, who initially I sort of arrived with, and then I had 5 host families, which was more than normal, but that they didn't want to say no to anybody, and 5 had put themselves forward. So that was lovely. I got to got to know them all really well, which was great, and I'm still in touch with most of them.
Oh, that's pretty special. All these years later, that the relationships forged, that they cared for you, but you're still caring for each other and staying in touch. I think that's fabulous. Yeah. And when you think back, like, it's a long time to think back, but that would have been a real adventure for you as a young woman. I'd imagine you went to school here. Is that correct at the time?
That's right. Yes, yeah. Yes. I went to Frankston North. Oh, Frankston High, I think it was called. Frankston High.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Frankston High. And then as a result of that, you would have made some friendships and experienced a little bit of the Australian countryside, etc. And what do you remember as a standout moment? Like, if you were thinking, if somebody asked you, what did you do? What's a couple of standout moments for you on your youth exchange year that you experienced?
Gosh. Well, I think one of the standout moments, and I'm thinking of it because we were looking up at the stars the other night, and I remember it every time I do, is being in the outback in Queensland and just seeing the stars, and even from Zimbabwe, the stars are pretty good, but there, where there was just no ambient light, just the most fantastic stars, and that was actually not with one of my host families. Another Rotarian took me on a camping trip around outback Queensland. So the stars are definitely a memory. Gosh, but so much of it, I think, the safari, just traveling around Australia, it's just mind-blowingly beautiful. But just getting to know, just having the whole experience of being away from home, and getting to know other people, and knowing how different families operate, all of that, really was Great. Yeah.
It's a wonderful experience. My son had the good fortune of going to Sweden as a Rotary Youth Exchange, and we had nothing to do with Rotary at the time. He came home from high school one day and mentioned that the program was there, applied for it, and he was awarded Sweden. And my experience in reserving him, and I'm wondering if you felt the same, it's a year of courage, it's a year of challenge, it's a year of excitement. It has a full gamut of emotions, and yet it's a real defining year when you look back as an adult to go, wow, that was my year of independence.
Absolutely. I was 16 and I turned 17 sort of midway through my year. So yeah, I mean, it was the first time I'd been away from home for any length of time. So yes, absolutely challenging in terms of feeling, you know, of course, you know, missing my parents and at times being a bit homesick. Yeah. But no, very and having to sort of, I never felt I had to look after myself because I was extremely well looked after. But definitely that independence that you have to develop. Yeah, no, it is.
It's a good stretch, a good challenge. You find out what your characteristics are, aren't you, in some way? So, yeah, I love that. And what about as an adult now looking back, because we're now, you know, some couple of decades on now, and you look back and there'd be some fond memories and everything, but you'll also recognise that it was a point for you that perhaps you brought some qualities through to your adult life. Would you say that it's adding value to you in your future years, having done the youth exchange?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, sort of more immediately afterwards, you know, I had 2 years at school doing my A-levels, and then I went on to university, and I went to Cape Town to university, as a lot of Zimbabweans do. And that step for me was incredibly easy, having done the Rotary Exchange, where I was able to embrace the university life from the go, whereas a lot of my friends felt very homesick and found it very discombobulating, whereas I had already had the challenge of being away from home. So I definitely think that was a positive impact. And again, then moving to the UK from Zimbabwe, again, that was a stepping stone that I'm sure was, you know, I didn't really struggle with it, and I'm sure that was in large part because I'd spent the year in Australia and I'd had the experience of, although there are similarities in the culture is quite different. And the same with the UK and Zimbabwe, there's similarities, but it is quite different as well. So I think that was definitely helped by having gone on exchange.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Pretty special.
And it does give you a resilience and an ability to, just overcome feeling a little bit out of water, I suppose.
Yeah, nice. I love that word, resilience. It's like I'm a big believer that challenges turn up in our life because we're capable of dealing with it. And the younger you can learn that, how pretty cool it is. So as a young 16-year-old woman, you're discovering that you can be away from home. Yes, you can get homesick, but you can get through it with the care of some other support around you. But then you can go on and create moments of brave as you become, you know, back into uni. Like you said, you adapted a lot faster, and moving to another country, that takes courage. So, you know, you've taught yourself through part of the experience that Rotary gave you that you are resilient, you have courage, and what a beautiful characteristic to be able to have and go and use in your life. And speaking of life, Caroline, I believe you are a professional coach in the UK. Is that correct?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I specialise in coaching parents. So, you know, from my own experience, I've got 2 children. Yeah, and everyone says that, you know, they don't come with a manual. Yeah. But I found when I started to do my coaching practice, it just transformed the way that I parented myself. And I just saw that I could be of use to so many other parents as well. So I don't coach from a sort of super nanny perspective. I'm very much more from a helping the parents develop confidence and trust themselves and understand how they want to parent.
Yeah, no.
So that's what I do.
From a place of clarity, discovering the clarity of what outcome do you want to create as a parent and where you want to go from there. So yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah.
It's space to, the space to think about it, which we don't often offer ourselves as parents. We sort of go from one challenge to the next, and it's a bit of firefighting that starts to happen rather than
get stuck in the stuff of life, like paying the mortgage, doing the work, all that sort of stuff. And then, having time to actually reflect and decide how you want to raise your children. I think that's a very special, unique gift that you have to be able to help parents who do want that help. So thanks for sharing that. So, Caroline, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, do you have a website that they should reach out to you at?
I do. It's very simply CarolineRowettCoaching.com.
Beautiful. Thank you. CarolineRowettCoaching.com. All one word there. So thank you. Hey, Caroline, thanks for taking the time out to share a little bit of, decades on. There's some great memories of being part of Rotary Youth Exchange, but it's even more than that. In your adult years, you actually recognise that you can make decisions for yourself to keep going forward with a whole lot of different adventures, where Rotary Youth Exchange has taught you of the qualities you've got inside are always with you. And I think that's absolutely wonderful experience. So thank you for taking the time out on your holiday in France, catching up with us. You're a champion woman for doing so. Hey, thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Bev.
You've been listening to Couch Conversations, brought to you by Frankston North Rotary. To discover more about Rotary, ask a question, explore if Rotary is ideal for you, please connect on our Facebook page or via email.